Hello, America. I'm Erick Erickson. These are the four things you need to know this afternoon, October 15th. Up first, a federal judge in Washington has ordered the Trump administration layoffs of employees of the federal government. This is kind of expected as the Democrats have descended into lawfare. Senior U.S. District Judge Susan Ilston on Wednesday said the administration must halt its layoffs less than a week after 8 agencies, Commerce, Education, Energy, Environmental Protection, Health and Human Services, HUD, Homeland Security, and Treasury issued reduction in force notices to more than 4,100 workers. About half the firings at the CDC were reversed. The administration promises more cuts, but this judge has said they must pause them. Now, that is, of course, reading from the Washington Post here with the latest, as this just hit the wire. But we also know that the president has the power to do this, and so this is a progressive activist judge doing this. She doesn't have the power to do it, although she did it. This is going to get reversed on appeal, is my prediction, and this just ups the stakes, because once it gets appealed and the president's allowed to do it, it will give the president even faster ability to do this further, and that's going to hurt the Democrats. Up next, Secretary of Defense. I'm not saying Secretary of War because I realize it was an executive order, but legally by law, by Congress, it's Secretary of Defense. It's the Defense Department, and I'm not playing the stupid games. Congress designated it the Defense Department, so that's what I'm using. I don't care if you don't care, or if you care, don't care about your tribal loyalty. It's the Department of Defense by the laws of the United States, and I respect the law. So the Secretary of Defense, Pete Hegseth, his plane has made an emergency landing in an Air Force base in the United Kingdom. Turns out there was a crack in the windshield. The Secretary was safe. This was a precaution. Not sure how the crack got there. It could be from something during flying. It could have been there all along and got worse. But he is safe and has resumed his trip. Up next, and I did mention this at the end of my show today, the president has authorized the CIA to conduct activities in Venezuela. That includes directly infecting Nicolás Maduro and targeting his regime and him directly. Not saying it's assassinations. It doesn't appear that that is the case, but the CIA is going to have expanded activities in Venezuela. This is important because it's a reassertion of the Monroe Doctrine. Additionally, Venezuela has invited in the militaries of China, Russia, and Iran into the Western Hemisphere, into Venezuela, to help train the Venezuelan militaries. They've collaborated with these Axis powers more and more. We now have about 10,000 troops stationed in Puerto Rico in addition to the Navy. There's a submarine we know of in the Southern Caribbean, and today 3 B-52 bombers flew just outside of Venezuelan airspace and turned off their transponders as they went by. The president clearly wants regime change in Venezuela and is clearly building to do this. He's also blown up another boat leaving Venezuela, claiming again that it was drug lords. Even Republicans in Congress behind the scenes are starting to grumble that they're being withheld data on what is actually on these boats and who is actually on the boats and how they know that it's drugs. The president, though, doesn't care. He's got a lot of power here in foreign policy to be able to do these things, and he wants regime change in Venezuela. Lastly, Senate Democrats have voted again to keep the government shut down. They keep telling Republicans, if you want to open it so bad, change the filibuster. Republicans are saying, nope, we're holding you to the standard you held us to. We want a clean continuing resolution. In fact, the resolution that the Republicans are using is the resolution authored by Chuck Schumer last year. The only modification Republicans have made is to expand security for members of Congress, which the Democrats agreed to. Senate Democrats, they're going to keep going, and they're going to get nothing from the Republicans in return. There are some Republicans who are starting to waver, but by and large, Republicans are holding firm on this. They expect the Senate Democrats to pass the clean continuing resolution to reopen the government, and they're not going to budge. Senate Democrats say they're not going to budge, and more people believe they will. In the meantime, hardly anybody notices that the government is shut down. In fact, today, the 15th day of the shutdown, is the first day major news outlets in this country have not even covered it. Earlier today on MSNBC and CNN and Fox News, none of them covered it. CNBC hasn't covered it. And today on the front pages of the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, the Washington Post, not a single story appeared about the government shutdown. People just aren't feeling the effects of it because the Trump administration is targeting Democratic interests, but not targeting the nation. These are the four things you need to know this afternoon before you get home. I hope you have a great rest of the day. Stay engaged, stay informed, and please keep the faith.